Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We rented movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweety and Sweety are here to say it's the Large Marge sent us podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two Sweety sisters talk about their favorite flicks from childhood. I'm Sweety.
And I'm Sweety.
And this summer apparently is the unofficial let's watch all the movies that terrified the shit out of Sweety when she was a little girl.
All of them.
And also that are about all of her biggest fears.
Because I'm trying to cure you. Curing you of the phobias. Curing you of the sharks jumping out of water phobia. I'm curing you of Arachnophobia, which is the movie we just did tonight. Yeah, I think this is important. I mean, I have one phobia. We've sort of already conquered it, as in we've conquered it, meaning conquered it. We watched a movie that like a big rat situation is in.
I can't believe you only have one phobia. There has to be something else. What about when like shoes get like curled up? Feet get curled up. And what about...
I think that's a legit phobia.
I don't know. But what about when Judge Doom, like, walks sideways with his, like, sideways feet?
It's kind of creepy. I mean, like, phobia, right? Like, we use that word to, like, say... We use that word sort of generally right now, right? Or just... Anyone uses it generally. Like, I don't think anyone's, like, really diagnosed with, like, the actual phobia, but, like, something you're terrified of, right? We just use that as a blanket term. Yes, no.
I mean,
are you a diagnosed arachnophobic?
No, but I think that I definitely am for the whatever the vomit was. So I have like three main phobias. Obviously, sharks, spiders, and people throwing up, or me throwing up, anybody throwing up. Which, thank God, there's not a movie about, because I know you would find it and make me watch it.
I'm finding one.
No, that'd be the least enjoyable movie. It's not like... It's not like sharks where people are like, I love sharks, and other people are scared of them. Like, nobody fucking likes vomit. Why is that even a thing? I'm trying to make it so that people stop showing vomiting on camera because it's not necessary. We don't need it. People have phobias. It's rude. That's my PSA. Anyways, so Arachnophobia, made in
1990,
starring Jefe Daniels.
Hey. God, I love Jeff Daniels.
He's
so awesome. Really, I don't know if there's a movie that I have not loved that he's been in. He's so good.
A young pup in this.
Yeah, I mean, as I told Sweetie today, I was like, you know you're getting old when you're like, man, Jeff Daniels looks pretty hot in this. Okay, he also plays a doctor, number 2. And he's a good doctor.
Yeah.
And, you know, he has a couple other things going on. We'll talk about him later.
He's not like a bad-looking guy.
But I don't know, like, I feel like my frame of reference for Jeff Daniels growing up was pretty much completely Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Where I don't think you're looking at Harry in Dumb and Dumber and you're like, hot as fuck. So it's like nice to see him play like normal stuff. Speed, he was pretty good looking in that. Also kind of paired with his kind of cool like bomb specialist personality. I mean, I think it has to be personality driven with Jeff Daniels, which he does so well. I believed he was a doctor in this. I believed it.
Wow. I mean, I believe most people are whatever they are in movies, except for when Denise Richards was a nuclear scientist. And that's like the only time.
Unbelievable.
But other than that, I feel like actors are pretty good for the most part at portraying their occupations. But yes, he's very good in this.
And who else is in this movie? I would say just like a handful of 90s character actors, right? No one like super stands out.
John Goodman.
Other than John Goodman, who is, again, you put John Goodman in fucking anything, it's amazing. He's great. He steals the show. I mean, he's so good in this, and I just love. I love John Goodman.
And then a bunch of other people are like that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy from that.
Oh, that the what'd you say? The Marble Rye lady from Seinfeld.
Yep.
Yeah. When you look at him on DMB, you're like, oh yeah, the guy from like Ladybugs. I don't know. It's just like all like random 90s movies, but we don't know their names. So
nope.
I'm sorry, but you did so good in this movie. You did awesome.
Should have gotten an award.
You did so well.
Sorry. You did so well.
Superman does good. you do well.
So okay. So I have a sordid history with this movie, and I think I remember seeing it, or maybe just looking at like the box in the movie store and being like, not gonna see that, because I was terrified of spiders pretty much my whole life, I would say. And then one summer afternoon when our cousin Kate was visiting, this was on TV and we started watching it, and it was the very beginning scene where the giant spider is like coming after that guy who's sleeping in the cot. And I remember vividly sitting on the leather lazy boy recliner that we had. This is when the living room was like in the old living room.
I like how we like define like our lives by like our new living room and our old living room.
And we were sitting there literally.
Wait, the navy blue recliner?
No, it was black. The black one that we had
I
forever.
thought it was navy.
No, it was black.
I think it was navy.
Do you want to call text Carol and we'll see who wins? But she has terrible memory, so I don't know if that's a good idea. But anyway, so we're watching the scene and we're literally like screaming like, ah! Ah! And we just had to turn it off after a while because it was way too scary and we hated spiders and it was not for us. Second memory is this was like on TV again. We were at Grammy's house, I think for one of our like weekly Sunday dinners. Okay. And you guys were watching this and I was just like on the couch like, oh God, why do I have to watch this? And it was the very end scene. And I remember just like staring like wide-eyed, like in horror at the screen watching it. But I watched it, so I was proud of myself. But yeah, those are my two main memories.
Yeah, I don't remember when I first saw it. Definitely, I'm sure on TV sometime. We might have rented it. I don't know. Maybe Dad like was like, "Oh, this is a fun movie," quote unquote. I mean, so it's definitely the genre of like killer animals, right? Which is like a genre of movies. And I started to like kind of write some down. We just did one. Jaws. Most famous killer animal movie there is. Anaconda. Horrible movie
giant snake.
With Jennifer Lopez and Ice-T or Cube? Cube. It's Cube. Cujo. Killer dog. And Lake Placid, which I don't know what is in the Lake Placid. Is it
alligator?
Like, it's an alligator? Okay, cool. So there's like this genre of killer animal movies, which is always really fun because in most cases you're like, damn, that could really happen, right? But the great thing about this movie is that it's spider related, which is like a little bit more close to that could happen in everyday life. And I would say most people, even if you're not actual arachnophobic, creepy crawlies, they just freak you out. They make you itchy. I mean, so I don't care like what you feel about spiders unless you're like the professor guy in this movie, or what is that called? The entomologist. Yeah. If you study insects, then maybe you're not. Some people love
spiders. Some people have. I know someone that has like 10 pet spiders.
I don't love spiders. I am not freaked out about them, but the idea of washing your hair and in the shower and you're closing your eyes and a spider jumps on your face, okay, I don't care who you are, you're going to fucking flip out. And that's why this movie resonates with everybody because, like, that is gross and scary and, pair that with they bite you and they kill you. I mean, that's like a huge deal. So that's what made this movie, like, so terrifying, basically, like, anyone who watched it. And I think they do such a good job, of that. Scaring you, but also kind of pairing it with like, some kind of cool stuff about bugs. And
it's definitely more in the horror comedy genre. I think that you can tell 100% by the music cues in this movie that it's definitely a comedy and because it's funny. But when I finally like got up the nerve to watch this, probably for my blog, I remember being like, wow, this is actually a really funny movie. That's very good. So I definitely face that fear.
Totally.
And
excellently paced, moves along, great ending, great, like, takes place in this little town, so all these, like, little kooky little characters in the town.
Yeah. And it's, like, basically follows the same format of a serial killer type of horror movie anyways, because there's, like, this people are dying, they don't know why, when they find out who the killer is.
Also, let me ask you this, horror movie aficionado that you are. Is there a common trope of like new family coming to town and they're like just moving in and they're like the new people and then like all this shit happens? Or do you think that's just like a trope in general? Because I feel like
I
that's
think
like
it's
always
a trope in
thing.
general, but it's like always the outsiders are the ones that get blamed for stuff.
Right.
So the best example is probably in The Birds when Tippi Hedren like comes to that island, all the birds start going crazy.
Right,
and so there's that crazy lady in the restaurant who's like, "This is because of you.
And then
I think you're the devil."
Right. And then also like they seem to be the first people who are like on board with like, okay, this is what's happening. And because they're outsiders, like nobody believes them. Right. So there's like always
And
that
'cause
kind of push and pull.
Jeff Daniels keeps fucking examining everybody that fucking dies.
That's like a weird coincidence for sure.
bad luck, Harry.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think this movie is like so fun, and it's like I hadn't seen it in a couple years.
Yeah.
At least like maybe 10 years. I don't know,
It
maybe
seemed to be a long
longer.
time for you. I knew
Yeah.
all the beats, but
And
I must have-
also I think like kind of timeless. I don't know, again, one of those movies that I think a fax machine is mentioned, but other than that, like
Yeah.
nothing that really stands out as dating this as super 90s, except for the wife's wardrobe and her insistence on wearing braids like all the time. But other than that, like not
Yeah.
really, right?
Fishtail braid, huge tail. But yeah, other than that, it's great. I love it. And because I think they get away with a lot of that stuff because whenever they do like small town movies,
Right, they're supposed to
Yeah.
be like backwards.
Yeah, and you kind of like can get away with. You don't need to include all of like modern technology kind of things. But yeah, great movie, great flick, guys, great flick.
Great flick. Okay, let's get into the plot and talk about spiders.
Itchy already.
It's time for the sweet synopsis. Yeah. I don't have any quotes. I don't honestly like. I have no.
Honestly, I thought
idea.
that was one, and I was like, "Wow, she's got one." Yeah, you should usually write one down that you are fond of.
Well, there
or-
wasn't anything like stood out.
the Delbert lines, probably.
What was the big Delbert line?
It's time to rock and roll.
Time to rock and
Or
roll.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. I should have done that. Lazy. I was too busy eating my Italian ice. I'm sorry.
Ross Jennings is a doctor who has moved his family from San Francisco to the quiet town of Canaima. Before that happens, though, let's take a quick journey, little trip, a little do to Venezuela. We are following the expedition of Spider. I just
It's a dinosaur.
I was like, it's just coming out. Mr. DNA is
The
just
dinosaur
he's just
DNA.
living in my body. He comes out. The spider expert, Dr.
Adderton.
Adderton or something. Basically, Lucius Malfoy, light.
I beg to differ. I believe it is Legolas from Lord of the Rings with a haircut and a PhD.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. But, I mean, Lucius Malfoy, it could be also easily be Lucius Malfoy.
He does look like
too.
his face.
Yeah. That's why I used to get confused, and I thought for the longest time that Lucius Malfoy / what is that guy's name? I forget.
Oh,
Jeremy-
that actor? Yeah.
Jeremy Irons? No.
No. I forget what you're calling. But
Okay,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Thought he was in this and that he was the guy. And I think we got into an argument one time because I was like, Emily, it's the guy.
Well, that guy certainly has a look. And I'm telling you, I haven't seen a lot of entomologists that look like that. So
He's-
good for you, buddy, for
yeah.
rocking it. Is he British? Something.
Who knows?
Scandinavian?
South African? Who knows?
Ooh, good call. Yeah, that could be something.
Yeah. So he's on expedition looking for this like geological region of the Amazon or
New kinds of
where right
spiders,
but it's
really.
but there's a specific location where you like drop down a certain feet and there's just like there's so many new species
yeah,
there
no
and they're
one's
just like
discovered
studying bugs, all bugs in general, but mainly looking for spiders because that's his specialty. So they go there and he's got this photographer with him who seems like a fuddy-duddy, kind of like his specialty is football, which I'm unclear is like if he likes football or he photographs football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You learn later he's from like the podunk town that like
Canaima.
Canaima that Jeff Daniels ends up working at. But he's got this like Jimmy Buffett kind of style shirt. This fucking football, Miami Dolphins or
Loves
whatever
the
the
Dolphins.
fuck the fucking hat was. And just like doesn't know what the fuck is going on. This guy is not a photographer for National
don't know.
Geographic, just gonna say. And I went back and forth with Sweety to be like, what is this guy doing here? And she's like, I just think he wasn't given the details. And I was like, I don't know. And then I watched the movie more and I was like, you're right. He was sold a bill of goods because I think the mission was so dangerous.
Can we explain that saying? What is Isn't that like everything is a bill of goods? Wait, why is that?
Something. When you're like basically like misled.
Yeah.
Is what it means, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah, I don't
wouldn't
know.
a bill
I
of
don't know.
goods be like what you just bought?
Sold a bill of goods. Here we go.
Okay.
Sold a bill of goods. Idioms. Sell someone a bill of goods. Defraud or deceive someone. He sold me a bill of goods about that used car.
But what does that mean?
Let's look up the word detective.
Oh my god.
Dear word detective, I've heard the phrase been sold a bill of goods. I just have to say it like that because it's like funny. I think to mean the buyer has been swindled. But what does it mean? Have I bought a list of various items or goods on the bill of goods only to find that they are non-existent? Or what? Alan Pratt.
Alan.
Or what indeed? A bill of goods would seem to be a good thing, like a receipt. Yeah. Speaking of receipts, how many of you folks... Okay, la. Until recently, the only time we did was when we go home. Blah, blah, blah. Bill of goods is rather a mundane phrase to have acquired such nefarious overtones. In its literal sense, a bill of goods is simply a list of items sent or consigned to another party for safekeeping, for sale, or in turn for payment. The bill and bill of goods is the common English word meaning at its most basic level, written statement. Okay, this is way too long. It is what it means. I'm right. Anyway, this guy sold a bill of goods because basically I think that like Legolas slash... what's his name? What did you call him? Lucius Malfoy. Like, can't get anyone to go on this fucking trip because it's too dangerous. So he can't tell anybody the details. So he's like, come to South America. Tell you the deets later. Meanwhile, there's like killer bugs everywhere.
The Amazon is no joke, you guys.
An ant literally lands on his leg and he's like, that's a 24-hour ant. And he's like, oh, does it bite? And he's like, it will kill you. An ant.
Literally everything can kill you in South America. Like the bugs, the fish, the plants. Like, it's no joke.
It looks so beautiful down there, but I'm never going.
I'll pass. It's a hard pass for me. So they go down there and they get to this like area where there's, all these new species. So they unleash this like smoke gun that just unleashes all this like poison or something into the air. And then they drop all these collection specimen collector
Yeah,
things.
there's like they have all these funnels that like go into these little glass jars, and it's basically like a canopy. So have you ever seen a rainforest?
Canopy up, canopy down.
Canopy up, canopy down. Like rainforest canopy. So basically, it's just like it covers like all of the sun. I mean, the trees are like so thick in those rainforests. But there's also like so much life that lives in those trees that like you can't find out because you can't like scale the fucking rainforest trees. Yeah. So you got to do this like kind of horrible method where they're just like killing the bugs, and the bugs are just like going along with their bug life, and then it's like boom, toxic cloud.
A bug's life too. Toxic cloud.
And you know what? Like, I feel bad for them. That sucks.
It does suck. So all these bugs are dropping out of the sky. Seems to be mostly butterflies, which is sad because they're really pretty and nice.
Sad.
And then they hear this big thud, and it's like sickening. It literally makes me want to throw up. It's kind of, but not not like a beat in your heart or in soul. Johnny Castle
dirty dancing impression.
Yes, no, we know. So they go over there, and it's this huge spider. And its legs are all shriveled up, so it's dead. And they're like, oh my god.
Or is it?
It might be a new species of spider.
That's totally Australian, but it's good.
Yeah. So they like get it in a jar, but then it like starts like jumping around or something. I don't know.
Remember the guy's like goes to photograph it, and it jumps on his camera lens, and he's like, ah!
Oh, yeah. But
he's like, it's alive, and then it like plays dead again or something, and they're like, oh, it's not alive.
It was dead.
No, it wasn't, because then it comes back to life, and that's when he drops the poison.
Legs were all
but that's when he drops the poison,
yeah,
like cotton ball in. He's like,
right.
This will kill an elephant.
So it's like a crazy fucking spider because it's not dying. So they're like, okay, interesting. So they like put the spider in a jar. It's dead now.
Wait.
And then they bring it away.
Time out though. Was that the thing that fell?
Yeah.
But the big one didn't.
Okay. Yes. So
sorry. I watched this movie too.
Meanwhile, someone is watching from up high, and they're like, what the fuck? These bitches just killed my wife. I'm going to get them. So this other spider, who is giant, climbs into the guy's backpack and then hitches a ride back to camp.
I mean, what size spider do you think that is? Like, say, like a common thing that everyone knows the size of. What size do you think that spider was?
Like a dinner plate.
Yeah. It was fucking huge.
Yeah.
Biggest spider you've like ever seen.
Right. And so, which there are spiders like that, and there are bird-eating spiders, Goliath bird-eating spiders, where their leg span is like 12, like a foot long for each leg.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
I mean, it looks like a tarantula, basically. but
It is-
much bigger.
It is one, but it's
Yeah.
bigger. So they go back to camp, and the guy's like, "Oh, I don't feel well. I have a fever." And you're like, "What? Did that ant really bite you? Was he going to die anyways?" We
I
don't
mean,
know.
he probably has, like,
So
malaria or
he
something.
lays down, takes a nap, takes a snooze. Can't get comfortable though because there's something in his sleeping bag / under the covers. It's crawling up his leg. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" Looks underneath it. Boom! Spider bite. He gets bit by the spider. Freaks out. Yells really loudly, and then starts seizing up. And then he's dead. He's
Yeah,
dead
within
like
a couple seconds.
5 seconds.
There's like one like trail of blood just like comes
Bad.
out.
So they're like, "Señor, he's dead. Está muerta." And or estoy no,
I am
está
dead. Está muerto.
muerto because it's a guy. Muerto, isn't it?
No, it's
O for man.
O for is I. I am dead. Muerto, right?
I think
Muerta?
you're dead. I think you're dead.
It's been a long time for
anyways,
Spanish.
so
Anyway, he dead. He real dead.
They come over and he's like, "Oh, the fever," and it's
Yeah.
like, "What? A fever didn't do that, you idiot!"
Yeah, and this is like basically the story of this entire movie. People saying whatever it is something else because a spider bite that kills you is super rare. And they throw out Black Widow because Black Widow is the one that really kills everybody. I don't even think if you get bit by a tarantula, they're not. I don't think they're poisonous. Tarantulas? I don't think so.
I don't think so. But so here's the thing, though. Like, if they were like in Ohio and somebody died while taking a nap, yes, I'd be like, maybe he died from a fever. But we're in the fucking Amazon where literally everything can kill you and
True.
things that you don't know exist yet.
But it was confusing because he was very sick with a fever. Would a fever kill you and make blood and I think blood is running out of their mouths because this happens with a couple victims because they bite off their tongue. So essentially they have like a seizure and bite off their tongue.
Which is gross.
So does that happen with a
Yeah.
fever? I don't
know.
think so.
Yeah. So whatever. They like put him in a box, and then unfortunately the giant spider is like, let's hitch a ride on this box. So he gets in the coffin.
The spider's like, fuck this town.
Fuck this-
I want to travel.
He's like, I'm sick of this dump.
sick of this dump. I want to get out of here.
His wife is dead. He's got nothing else. He's like, I'm gonna be a bachelor.
Yeah.
So he goes in the box.
Basically, this movie should be called Spider's Day Out. I mean, he just was looking for a real adventure.
He was
Spreading his
because
wings.
the Amazon is not adventurous enough. And so he gets in the box. They go. They like seal it up, ship him off to his hometown of Canaima, which, if you remember from the beginning of the synopsis, is where Ross Jennings lives. He just moved there. So bad luck, bad timing, etc. So he's like situating himself in the town. He's all excited to start his new doctor's
Ross
gig.
Jennings is not the dead body.
No, Ross
You
Jennings
just- you
is
just
Jeff
made-
Daniels.
Yeah. You just made the jump, and I just want to make everyone clear.
You're the jump. So yes.
Eat your checkers.
Yeah, so exactly. So he goes, he's like, la la la, first day of work. And he like goes up to the doctor's office, meets the doctor he's gonna be replacing. The doctor's like he's like, listen, I may be old, but I'm not old enough to stop being a doctor. And Jeff Daniels is like, what? Like, I literally left my packed up my life, made my wife quit her job, and fucking moved here with my kids in this podunk country. And you're telling me you changed your fucking mind?
Yeah. Hope he signed a contract or something. I mean, that is some bullshit
That is
stuff that
such
doctor pulls.
bullshit.
And that doctor is such a dick anyway. I mean, he's just like a dick the whole time. But and also you look wicked old, dude. Like, I don't even think you're like way past retirement age. There's no way that guy is 65.
What was the
that guy's like 85.
He's like, what was the doctor that had to do like the scoliosis checks in the
Yes,
elementary school?
Mr. Whitelaw. Oh my God. And that's the thing. I mean, actually, when I saw this, it totally reminded me of Mr. Whitelaw, who was like
Dr. Whitelaw?
Dr. Whitelaw, who was like our town doctor. And like Sweety said, like he'd come to the high school and give everyone scoliosis checks. But I think he had Parkinson's or just like
he
the
was shaky.
old man shakes or something
Yeah.
like that. So he was like examining you and like shaking up a storm, and you're like, what is happening here? But like that's how it works with old town doctors. There's usually like one. Everybody goes to them, and like that's what it is. It's not like in Boston here where there's like a bajillion doctors.
So many doctors.
Yeah.
So quick sidebar on Dr. Whitelaw. So best Dr. Whitelaw story I have is that I had scoliosis, and then they do like the gym teacher does or the nurse does a check in gym class is like part 1, and she was like, oh, I see a curvature, and I'm like, no. So then they're like, all right, the doctor will come and check you. So then you go to the nurse's office, and the doctor checks you. And checking for scoliosis is pretty
bend over,
easy.
right?
You just bend over, and they like feel your spine.
Yeah.
So I was in 5th grade. and he like is checking out my spine, and then he goes, "Oh, you've started your period," and I was like, "What?" Because I was.
How did he know?
I know. This has been like plaguing me for my entire life because I was literally the only girl in the 5th grade who had gotten their period at this point, and I was keeping it under wraps
And he
because
was
I didn't
just
want anyone
looking
to
at
know.
your back.
Yes. So maybe like my hips were like turned out or something, or like a certain way. But like we
There
should
wasn't
look into
like
that.
a weird stain on your underwear.
No, I had my pants on. God. But that did happen to me one time at the Boston Children's Hospital. I was wearing like my period underwear, and I was like, ooh.
Remember, like in Scary Movie, where like the little boy is like the
Oh my God, that's
Sixth
my
Sense
favorite
guy.
part.
She's like,
Your period starts in 3, 2, 1.
She's like, ow.
So
God,
good.
that's a great movie.
We love Scary Movie 3. You guys, if you have not seen Scary Movie 3, please watch it right now. Thank you. Okay, so back to the movie.
Anyway, so bullshit doctor. So Dr. Jennings is like, fuck, what am I going to do now? Meanwhile, which I guess this happened like prior to him figuring out the doctor shenanigans. So they're unpacking whatever, and his like little son in a Yankees hat. BT Dubs are from San Francisco. So you're like, what is happening with your allegiance to baseball teams? I'm concerned for you, little boy. But anyway, he sees a spider on a moving box, and he's like, ah! Dad, spider. Like, dude, calm down. You're a boy. Just kidding. Anyone can be scared of spiders. It is not gender related. So he's like, Dad, spider. And this is when you learn that the doctor,
Ross Jennings.
Dr.
Jennings.
has arachnophobia. So he's like super scared. So the wife is in charge of like taking care of basically like all the spiders. So they get the little spider, and I guess they're Buddhists because they're like, instead of like smacking it, they're like, let's bring it into this scary barn. So they have this like literally barn from hell. It is like basically like a tetanus shot waiting to happen. It is busted. I don't even know what was kept in there. It's just like disgusting. So they bring it into the barn and like drop the little spider, and they're like, bye bye spider, have fun, see ya. Like, and that's what you see of spiders. Like,
The spider's
thus
like,
far.
bye.
Thanks for
See ya,
letting
see ya.
let me loose.
So then that night they share, Ross Jennings and his wife share a lovely romantic evening, coinciding with the spiders in the barn. Oh wait, hold on, I missed some things. So the body comes to the morgue. The guy does the autopsy, picks up the lid of the coffin. The body is desecrated.
And this is the body of the photographer
Yep.
who's from that hometown.
Strained to blood, shriveled raisin,
Shriveled gray
Gross.
raisin.
Unfortunately, he does not see the giant spider that is hitched a ride because he's hiding because he's smart as fuck. And then the spider leaves and then like leaves the morgue, and a bird picks him up and he's like, lunch, and then flies away, but then dies immediately because the spider bit him. And unfortunately, the spider flew right to the Jennings' new house and landed in the woods nearby. So now the big spider is there.
He's in the scary barn.
So, well, he goes to the barn and finds the little house spider, mates with the house spider. They have babies. The babies then, in a couple days, hatch. Quick life cycle. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like the timeline of this movie is like kind of
unclear,
hard to tell.
unclear.
But
So,
I think it's
yeah.
a couple days.
So that's the
maybe a
spider.
week.
That's the spider drama. Meanwhile, in real time, people time, Ross Jennings is like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, I don't have a doctor job, whatever. But this nice old lady is like, listen, this doctor's a quack. You be my doctor. You'll be fine. I'll throw a party. Everybody will meet you. You'll be great. So he has one patient now, Margaret. So he looks at Margaret. He's like, okay, like some blood pressure thing, but like, don't take this medication that this whack ass doctor gave you. It's wrong.
Right, because that old doctor is like, I don't know if you know this, but like when you're in any sort of medical profession, you have to keep up like what they call continuing education. So our dad was a pharmacist, and he always had to go to CE or continuing education and like keep up on like the new standards, because like all that stuff changes like constantly. Clearly, the old doctor from like Podunk Town isn't keeping up with his CE because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He doesn't know the new standards or like this or that. So he's been prescribing poor Margaret high blood pressure medication when she really doesn't have high blood pressure.
Unbelievable.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So they have this great party. It's fun. Yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, the spiders hatch and they're like, woohoo, we're free. And they like run off and go start causing mayhem. One of the spiders gets into Margaret's house and bites her. She's dead. Immediately. Again, we know how fast this poison works.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's still working.
It was hiding in a lampshade.
Check
So,
those
like, she literally
lampshades.
is like, she's like reminiscing, and you know what? I don't feel like as bad about that death, because she was like basically reminiscing how much she missed her husband who had died, and was like, oh, you should have been at this party, like you would have had so much fun, this and that.
Yeah, that was sweet.
And so it seemed, I mean, not that she like wanted to die, but I feel like she was ready. And so she like pulls the lampshade, the lamp down. It's like one of those little pull, which I kind of love that style. Oh, you have one right there. Where you like pull the lamp down. But unfortunately, the spider picks that exact moment to fall down, bite her in the hand. So it's not like she gets a bite, but it's like dark too. Spooky. And she's like, ah! It's my spider.
She's
bite
dead.
noise.
She's dead.
Yeah.
So she like tries to call for help, obviously dies before she can. Ross's wife is like, listen, I tried to call Margaret to like thank her. Next day, the phone's busy. Like, we go check on her. So he goes and checks on her, and she's dead, as we know. So he's like, what the fuck? Like, this is interesting. What happened? What could have caused this? So does he think at this point that it's a spider bite?
So, okay, so remember the bullshit doctor also goes there, and they're, like, talking about it, and the bullshit doctor is like, well, like, she did have high blood pressure, which would contribute, because it kind of looks like she had a heart attack, right? Because basically,
she's bleeding
like,
out of the mouth.
Yeah, and if you have like a spider bite, like you obviously toxins enter you, but usually what happens is your heart stops, so it will like look like a heart attack, right, or like a cardiac event. So the doctor's like, well, obviously she had high blood pressure, and then so Jeff Daniels is like, well, she didn't have high blood pressure, and like I took her off for meds. And the bullshit doctor's like, what? You did what? So then that doctor thinks Jeff Daniels like basically caused this woman's death. And Jeff Daniels starts to second guess it too, because he's like, oh no, like, did I cause this woman's death? Because, I made the wrong decision, which it happens in the medical profession. Like, you just never know. But you also never know kind of when people are going to drop dead of a heart attack. I don't know. I've heard of like very healthy people dying. So it's like Battle of the Doctors.
Right. And so the next, I don't know when this is, again, timeline fuzzy, but football practice. Jennings, the football coach, is like one of his neighbors who like lives near him, the Beechwoods. He's like, come to the gym and test the boys for hernias or whatever. And they go, and he does like the hold your balls cough thing to all the boys, and then they go out and practice. A kid that was like on the bench gets ready to go out, grabs his helmet. Unfortunately, a spider crawled in the helmet.
Those spiders are so fucking smart, man.
Why? Yeah.
I don't know. They crawl into like all these little places, because it's not like, and they do like jump on people kind of towards the end, but really they're just like getting into things that people are like unsuspecting of, and then biting them through that.
It's unclear whether it's like a personal vendetta or it's by accident. I think it's a vendetta, because I think they were like the spiders like literally telling them, I've said literally so many times in this podcast, but he's telling them to go out and like kill people, I think.
Right, because they're not eating the humans as food. They're literally biting and leaving. So it is like, when you learn later kind of like what that process the spiders were trying to do was basically they're trying to just like clear out the area, right?
Apparently.
Because they were very territorial.
But then why wouldn't they have done that in the Amazon? Like,
because they couldn't. Remember, the guy was like, they were unable to do that because of geography, because they were stuck in that like hole.
Why
they were so
they
far
have killed
down.
all the other animals in that hole, though?
They did.
There were so many butterflies.
They don't give a fuck about butterflies.
All right.
My new band name.
Okay. Makes sense.
I don't give a fuck about butterflies.
So the guy puts his helmet on, goes off to practice football. Oops, he dead. He gets bit too. He's dead.
Right behind the ear.
So Ross Jennings is, I have to say his full name, because when I say just Ross, it feels like Friends.
Ugh,
and I'm like, ugh, Ross. So I'm going to say Ross Jennings. So Ross Jennings goes over, he's dead immediately, notices another like telltale trail of blood out of the mouth or whatever.
Yeah. So clearly like another
And
seizure.
like, what the fuck?
But in
He's
this
like,
case, obviously very healthy young man.
Right.
So it's not like
No
any kind of heart
possible.
attack situation.
Right. So the stupid old doctor's like, wow, he examined him right before he died too. He's obviously Dr. Death or whatever.
Yeah. And you're like, get the fuck out of here, bullshit
like,
doctor.
Get the fuck out. So
Spreading
then
rumors.
mean rumors get spread like he's Dr. Death. Ooh, oh no. So then the doctor, mean doctor, is at home like bitching to his wife about Ross Jennings and is like, he's just one of these guys who just thinks he knows everything. And then he puts his slippers on. Guess what's in a slipper?
Fucking spider.
A fucking spider. Bites him on the toe. He did. His wife calls Ross
Like
Jennings.
when he gets bit.
Yeah.
He gets bit and like the spider like runs away. And like, mind you, this is not like a daddy long like looking spider. It's quite a good sized spider. I wouldn't say like a house spider even. Like, that's a fucking scary spider. And the wife is like, it's just a little itty bitty spider. And then he goes, felt like a cougar.
Yeah, and because and it's not like spiders are like biting people on the regs. If a spider bit me right out in the open like that, I'd be like, what the fuck? Let's investigate this. I don't know. She was too nonchalant about the whole thing. I'm very suspicious. I think she planted the spider, but that's just...
I think she wanted to get rid of that husband. He fucking sucks.
He sucks.
You know that scene where he's like walking on the treadmill, that scene, and she's like, oh, whatever your name is, like, I just want to go for walks with you outside. And he's like, can't do that. He's like, I got to know like exactly how far I'm walking and for how long. Like, he's such a control freak. I know. Yeah. He sucks.
So whatever, he's dead now. So now Ross Jennings is the doctor of Canaima. I have to keep flipping back, but it's not helpful when I flip back.
Here you go. Here's the rhyming. Aunt Jemima Canaima.
Okay, but when I keep flipping back and I go back to it, my N looks like an H, so I keep like stumbling and being like, Canaima.
That looks like a K.
Listen, I don't make the rules on the handwriting situation. Back off. So, okay. So now he's like, something is up. And of course, this time the wife saw a spider run away. So she tells that to the police. So Ross Jennings is like, maybe it was a spider bite that killed him. Yeah. He finds a little bite mark on his toe. He's like, this is proof positive. Done. Autopsy now. Let's figure this shit out.
The coroner is like, well, I've only seen, one spider bite in my life that led to a fatality, and it was a 1-year-old bitten by a black widow spider. Sad. So it is super rare. Like, you're right. And so I don't blame those people. If this was a place where there was like tons of poisonous spiders, like the Amazon, you would think differently. But this isn't a place where like why would a poisonous like spider into that level be up here? You're right. Yeah. But Dr. Jennings knows like something is up.
So they do the autopsy. They find out he did have a trace amount of like toxin unidentified. And so Ross Jennings is like, listen, we got to exhume those other bodies. We got to look for bites. We got to see if they have spider bites too. So they do, and they find that both bodies had them.
Yep.
So it's a spider bite.
Yep.
Boom. Done. So he calls up a spider expert. Who should he call? The only spider expert apparently in the world is
Legolas with a PhD, Dr. Adderton.
Yep. Dr. what?
Adderton.
So he's like too important to deal with these shenanigans. So he sends his assistant down.
Let me send my hot assistant down.
Yeah, Chris Collins, babe to the max. Robo babe. He's hot.
Here's why he's babylicious. Ready? Okay. Cute glasses. Great hair. Denim bomber jacket.
Whoa.
With a suede collar.
Ooh.
He's so fucking cute.
Yeah. He's just like really sweet. Like obviously, I'm just going to jump to the Sweety Club award, but like he gets it.
It's amazing.
We love him. So he sends him down. He is, what is the thing that makes him like realize that he's probably right and that he needs to get down here right away?
Well, they identified the bites on the 3 people.
Right.
So he's in the coroner's or the undertaker's office or whatever when they find the bites on everyone. So he's like, okay, so clearly like all these people died of like kind of weird circumstances and they find bites in everyone. So that's a commonality, right?
Yeah. So he calls them up. He's like, you got to get down here. They want to quarantine the town. Like, I can't really do that without your say. So the doctor goes down there. And they find out that this town is the same town where his photographer lived and where his body was sent to. So he puts like 2 and 2 together and is like, oh shit. So they go to Margaret's house to find specimens of the spider. They find one behind a painting. It's very scary. They bring it back. They dissect it or whatever and look at it. And it's a drone, so it doesn't have sex organs. But the suspicious thing is that the fangs are like 3 times stronger than like regular spider fangs. And they tell the doctor this and he's like, oh geez, like bad news.
Well, also that the fact that it was a drone, because they say that like that is something that doesn't present in spider species. So that's something, as most people know, like ants and bees, that's like a common thing. So you have like a queen and then you have all these little drone ones that can't reproduce and they're just like doing the work, right? But that's not something that happens in spiders. And I was reading a little bit about spiders before this podcast. And they're actually very solitary animals and very aggressive. And as they do say in this movie, they're cannibals. So they're very territorial. So they were like kill other spiders in that area. So this is like something super, super rare that people have never seen in spiders. But who has seen that in spiders?
Dr.
Sweety,
Whatever.
Where did he see that?
In Venezuela.
Oh my God.
So it's the same spider. So he surmises that the giant spider, another species of that spider, like came in the coffin, went to Canaima, escaped, mated with a common house spider. Their offspring, he picks one and is like, hey, do you want to be my wife? Which is like gross, first of all.
Incest. Sick.
So mates with that one, who's his daughter, but also his new queen. Ew. And then they have another egg sac, and then those babies haven't hatched yet?
Okay,
oh, right,
so
yeah, right.
Because there is a scene where you see this like smaller spider, but still pretty like massive, let's say regular tarantula size, crawls into the Jennings basement, which is the wine cellar. You know, the doctor is a oenophile, loves wine, has a big wine collection. Chateau Margaux, 1955. I don't know if that's the vintage or not, but I'm going to say it is.
An old fucking bottle of wine.
And you see a spider crawl into the basement, like dragging a sack like it's a hobo with like a bag over its shoulder. I mean, the thing is just like dragging that thing like it's its job, because it is. Because it was living in the barn, but as like John Goodman said, as the exterminator, the barn is not a place where you would have an egg sac. Too drafty.
Too windy.
So that spider moves the egg sac. You know, so You're right. So like he picks somebody out to be the queen, mates with them. She had that egg sac and dragged it into another location.
So all the little spiders are all the drones. So they like whip out a map and they're like, okay, where have all the attacks happened? So they like circle all the houses, and then the house in the middle they decide is where the nest is. And Ross Jennings is like, uh-oh. He's like, damn, my house. Uh-oh. Shit. So
my kids, my wife.
Yeah. So they go to his house. And meanwhile, the doctor like goes to the barn because he sees a picture of the web, goes to the barn to like examine it, fucking tugs on the spider web like a fucking idiot, and is like, here, birdie, like, here, fishy.
What did
like,
he think was going to happen?
And then the spider like attacks him and kills him and wraps him up in like a cocoon thing. So he's dead. So the rest of them, Delbert, who is the exterminator.
What he loved.
Delbert is the town exterminator. Hottie Chris and then Ross Jennings get in the car, go to his house. Come in the house. They're like, kids, wife, we gotta go. Too late, though.
Too late.
The spiders fucking swarm the house. And it's like the most distressing scene. We'll talk about it. But they have to get out of there. They like jump out the window. Ross Jennings can't make it.
And maybe this is what you were asking before. So like the queen dragged the egg sac in there. And then you do see that. And it's like pulsating and like nasty like a little bit later. But why were all those other spiders around there?
Well, wait, they weren't supposed to be, because Hottie Chris says the nest, you'll find it because there will be no other spiders around.
Right.
But maybe they just like got sick of staying away and they're like, let's take over the house. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird.
So whatever. So they get
Great
out.
Scene, though.
Ross Jennings,
spiders everywhere.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. And Ross Jennings falls through the floor because they have bad wood in their house. And he falls into the cellar and he's like, musty, damp, like warm. No spiders around. He's like, I'm in the fucking nest. And then the mother spider comes after him. He kills it. Sweet. Sees the egg sac. He's like, I gotta burn that shit up. I gotta burn that before it destroys the town. So he goes to do that. Unfortunately, the big daddy spider is down there too.
Also known as the general.
The general. And attacks him. And then there's a big like fight scene.
Yeah, he like figures out, there's a lot of good tools in this. Luckily he's in the basement, right? Because there's a lot of tools to like destroy a spider. Because he's got a nail gun. He's got flammable, like, propellant, like, spray shit. He's got, like, one of those lighters that you use to, like, light a grill with, like, the long, like, nose, whatever that's called.
Nice.
So he's, like, basically, like, a one-man, like, propane gun. He's like, where you fucker? Like, and he's, like, basically burning up his whole wine cellar. And it's getting bad. He's getting real beat up. I mean, because he can't find the damn spider. I mean, it's big, but it's like still like a wild little spider.
Like dark down there.
Yeah. So he like hears it crawling in the pipe, and he's like trying to get it, and then I forgot what happens, but he gets basically like blown back into like his like wine rack or something like that, and kind of immobilized because he's just kind of like injured and shit. And then all of a sudden, the general is there. And he's crawling super slow towards them, but he's like
agonizing.
But you like have to remember that Jeff Daniels has arachnophobia, so like he's basically out to save his life and everybody else's by trying to kill a spider, but he's still very scared of this spider.
Yeah.
So the spider's like crawling like super super slow and like just teasing him kind of because he could have really bitten him at any time. And he didn't.
I know. I'm like, what are you waiting?
What are you waiting
What
for?
are you waiting for?
Where was he going to bite
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, I don't know. So, as luck would have it, his crazy nail gun is near him. So he grabs that. The spider's about to jump on his face, shoots him with the flames.
No, how does he get on fire?
Oh no! Well, he flames. Oh, he like bats him away and then like lights him on fire with the spray can with
the
the flame.
blowtorch thing.
She's like, "Sweet, I got him. I killed him." But unfortunately, this spider is like fucking nuts and like runs at him on fire, ball of fire. Spider, fire spider attacks him. He takes the nail gun. Boom, dead. Nails him into the nest, which is burning now because the spider was on fire, and everything is good.
Two birds.
Yeah,
Two
and
birds, one
Delbert
stone.
killed all the spiders that were upstairs, but the ones he didn't kill were just dying. So I guess they had a short lifespan, so they're all going to die anyways. That's it. Spiders are dead. All is well. Ross Jennings moves back to San Francisco. He's like, "Fuck this place," and there's an earthquake. But they're like, "You know what? That's fine.
Better
it's not
than
a spider.
Killer
Yeah.
spiders.
So that's the movie. For some reason, that was our longest synopsis
Oh
we've
my
like
God.
ever had.
It was really
But-
like a kind of a crazy plot.
That's true. And we did a lot of like sidebars.
Yeah.
So whatever. But cool movie. Okay. So I think we should just jump right in and talk about the scariest scenes in
Okay.
this movie.
Great.
So I will start. So obviously I said the beginning scene where the spider, there's one shot where the spider like puts its legs like underneath the cot of the guy, sleeping photographer, and like crawls away. So my main confusion with this movie is that they did use an animatronic spider, but they also used real spiders. So I don't know what, and I guess that's a tale of a good
Yeah,
animatronics.
I could not tell.
I mean, like sometimes yes, like when it goes in the bag and when it like comes out of
when
the
they had
thing.
like super close face shots, that was not real,
for
right?
100%.
Yeah.
But there's I don't know. There's some, I don't know. Whatever. This was terrifying. That scene scared me so much that I turned off the movie and ran for the
Wait,
hills.
that he was under the cot?
Yeah, when he like does his legs up and he's like coming in.
Whoa, okay.
And also, actually, the interesting thing about this movie is that it kind of takes a page from Jaws and doesn't show you a ton of the spider. Like you see like a leg here, a leg there, but you don't see the full spider really until the
giant
very
one, the general,
end.
The general.
Yeah, until the very end. Like you get
That's
snippets,
Yeah.
but not the whole thing. So interesting. But yeah, that scene scared the shit out of me. Basically was like telling me, listen, do not go to South America ever in your life. So I'm not going to go, you guys. I'm never going. Forget it.
Okay.
It's done. I'm done. So yeah, that was my number one
Cancels
scary
Sweety's surprise
scene.
birthday trip to South America in October.
Nuts. But yeah, fuck that. So yeah, that scene, obviously terrifying. You go.
Okay. So for me, next one would be the spider in the shower scene. I don't know why that freaks me out the most because I've totally seen spiders in the shower, and been like kind of freaked out. More along of like the daddy long legs like route, which let's be real, daddy long legs are going to do nothing for you. Also, they're like super fragile and easy to kill. I mean, they're not like. I don't know.
Sweetie, I opened a seltzer can and it won't open.
You got to push it from right side. You might break a nail. Or
think I
cut your
can.
finger. Be careful.
I think it's fucked.
So anyway, okay. So like we said, the spiders like get into certain places that are unsuspecting to people where they're not sure that they're going to get bit.
But
and
their
they
goal
do.
is totally to bite someone.
Totally. So, like we said, first lady hidden in the lampshade. Like, pulls the lampshade, boom. Football helmet, check. Doctor, it crawls into his slippers. And then you have two incidences in bathroom scenarios that are actually not fatal. So you have the first one where the spider crawls into the shower and is like crawling above on the shower like curtain pole thing. Oh, you did it? Did you cut your finger?
Maybe.
Careful, I told you. So anyway, this woman's like just sudsing up, and the spider jumps onto her face. She doesn't even feel that, first of all.
Because there's water on her face.
Right,
So
there's water, so she like doesn't really feel it. And they also do this to show like a gratuitous like boob shot. Let's be real. And like it's this kind of teenage girl, and they like the spider kind of goes down her like hot, naked, like wet body. I don't know if they're doing that for like whatever reason.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Me too. And the spider, so I don't know when she feels it. I guess she just looks down, and at this point, it's on her
on
foot.
her stomach.
No, it's on her
stomach.
Or stomach. Okay, so she like goes it off. It's like on her foot, and then it like goes down the drain. Meanwhile, in like the downstairs bathroom where her dad is taking a shit, because he was like knocking on the door and be like, "Get out of the shower," and she's like, "Dad, get out of here." So he goes downstairs to take a shit, and it's in the toilet. So it's like 2 seconds from biting his balls, and like she freaks out about the spider, so like he gets up, whatever. But I don't know what it is about a spider jumping on your face in the shower that just like freaks me the fuck out. I actually reimagined that scene, as I do with these movies sometimes. I thought like it was in her hair and she was like sudsing it up, like when you like shampoo your hair. And then she felt it and then freaked out. Is that a different movie, or did I just make up my own
That's why
scene?
you were like, does this remind you of the cicada, the June bug in your hair? Yeah, I was like, why?
Maybe that's a different movie.
I don't even know if that is a movie. I don't know. The Grudge? I don't know. Yeah, that scene awful. And I'm definitely going to be checking the ceiling and everything
because
before I get in the
spiders
shower.
do like damp, warm places, which is like a shower.
Like, fuck that. Outside showers, don't mess with that shit.
Oh my god, so many spiders in outdoor showers.
So
it's all Daddy Long
yeah,
Legs.
so that so and my old apartment when I was in college had so many spiders, but they were like these old, like ancient spiders, like old as fuck,
Antique
who were
spiders.
like so gross and like here I come. Like I don't know, they weren't scary at all. They were just fucking annoying. So I'd like suck them all up in my vacuum. No big deal. Okay, yeah, great scene, terrifying. So. The next one that definitely I think people remember from this movie is the popcorn scene. So
God,
the morgue guy, the coroner. No, what's his name? I
Irv.
don't know. Okay, yeah, but what's his like job title? What is that called?
Yeah, so not medical examiner. He's like Undertaker.
Undertaker. So he's at home with his wife watching Wheel of Fortune, which is like their thing. They take the phone off the hook. They like make a big bowl of popcorn. Unfortunately, a spider slides right into
Which
that
looks
popcorn.
delicious, by the way.
Before the spider went in
Yes.
it. Yes. So they take it, they watch Wheel of Fortune, they're like, yay, our favorite pastime, which is like, unfortunate. I mean, Wheel of Fortune's for dummies, let's be real.
Right.
But whatever. So they're eating the popcorn, and you see their hand getting closer and closer to the spider, and then it cuts away before it actually bites them.
Well, that's another one. Well, I guess that's kind of the first instance where they don't show it, though, right? That's the
I
first
think
spider
so.
bite where they don't.
They
show.
don't show it. So then the gang pulls up, and they run inside, and they're like, guys, we got spiders. And then they find out, oops, they're dead already. Too late. So then they like examine. They're looking, I guess, for a spider bite wound. But at that moment, a spider fucking comes out of the guy's nose.
The nose,
And he's like, "Ah!" Oh my god!
and
I
it's clearly
screamed.
a
I screamed.
wax fake head. I mean, it's like the guy's in really bad shape.
Still, I don't.
if it was
But
real.
still, like if I died without ever having seen a spider come out of somebody's nose, I would be fine.
That was really gross.
It reminds me of, so I watched Nurse Jackie last year, or like in the winter or something, and there's like a specific episode where a guy comes in because he feels something in his ear, and then they look in there and it's a fucking spider, and then they like get it out, and then he has a fucking another spider in his ear, and then there was another episode about a spider in the ear. So now I'm like, is that a thing? Are spiders in people's ears now?
That's not a thing. Did you see? I just did a thing on my Instagram
Saw
story.
that.
You know, biggest urban legend. I don't know. It got like tossed around that you're like, you swallow 12 spiders a year. And so I'm like, I'm going to like, you know, nail this down once and for all. So I Google it today, get whatever that app was. Snopes.com. Just kidding. It wasn't, but it was something like that. And they're like, you know what? Here's the truth. You just swallow about 0 spiders a year, guys, 0. And like,
Thank
because
God.
they were like, there's just so many factors have to be involved there. Like, first of all, you have to sleep with your mouth open. Like, how many people is that?
I definitely sleep with my mouth open.
All the time?
I'm pretty sure.
For 8 hours, you're not.
Check out the drool pattern on my pillow.
Are not standing there. I think there's a spider on the ceiling over there. Or is that a moth? What is that?
It's a piece of the streamer from when we had a birthday party.
Are you sure?
Yes. Because whenever I'm sitting in my bed reading, I look up, I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, it's just the
Wow,
streamer.
that looks like a spider. I'd take that down
it's
immediately.
an old streamer.
Anyway, so yeah, so guys, you don't swallow any spiders in your sleep. Just want you to know.
Woo! Phew. I was worried. Yeah. So that scene's great. Okay. And then I think the last one is just the swarm, the spider swarm.
Oh God.
So, guys, no joke. This scene is like maybe the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. All the spiders come out, And I will say that like the drone spiders are not as scary to me because they're smaller and they're kind of like crab-like, which I was reading in the trivia. They are like a family member, whatever, of the crab family,
and a very harmless, not toxic at all.
Yeah,
scary,
so
spider.
not as scary, but still, when they're in large quantities and they're like everywhere, I was so itchy and so upset. I couldn't handle it. So it's kind of like that scene in The Craft where there's just bugs everywhere, except unfortunately it's all spiders. So they're like all over the wall. They go in the bathroom. They start coming out of the door, like under the door, and then they come out of all those little holes in the back of the sink.
That's the worst part for me.
Yeah.
Okay, like spiders coming out of drains is like, I don't know why that visual is like so intense for me, but I was just like,
It's just like, I remember. Do you remember when we went to? I think it was the Washington D.C. Zoo, and like in the either like the reptile room or something, they had some spiders, but they were not behind glass. They were like, these are special spiders that like live whatever, but they were hanging down, and I remember just being so like itchy and scratchy that like these spiders are going to attack me that I had to leave. I was like, I am not messing
bug
with that.
stuff. I mean, you just get so like itchy immediately, and that made me that scene makes me like totally itchy. And they're like everywhere and they're dropping, and it's amazing. I mean, I would say, I don't know, 50 spiders at least fall on Jeff Daniels, and he does not get bit. So they didn't want to kill him.
Yeah, what's happening?
They were like, the general was like, save him for me, save him for me.
I feel like if it was a vendetta, they would have been satisfied when they killed the doctor guy in the barn, and then they would have been like, okay, job's done, and then like been like, I can live on with my life. But
like if it's a territorial spider,
True.
and Jeff Daniels lives there, like wouldn't that be the goal for them? Like, let's kill the guy who lives there. We're
bite him right away. It's like all these fucking movies where the bad guy's like, I'm not going to kill you right away. I'm going to talk to you for a little bit. And you're like, just fucking kill him.
They really do make that spider kind of have a personality, which is pretty cool. Because he's pretty wily.
He's fucking smart. Yeah.
I know.
So, yeah. So the end scene is, I believe, a mixture of real spiders and then that animatronic spider that they built. Again, I can't really tell you what is what. So I'm pretty impressed.
It was awesome.
I know they definitely used a real like Goliath bird eating spider for that, at least a part of that end scene, because they talked in the trivia about how it was actually a very dangerous spider because it does bite.
Yeah. And
so they had spider
it.
wranglers. And there's a scene where you can see like the pole they used to like push the spider up Jeff Daniels' leg or something, but I couldn't see
Well,
it.
it's kind of crazy when you think about like, okay, so we did like, remember when we talked about Homeward Bound and we're like, holy shit, like the cat stunts were like insane. Because you're like, how do you make a cat do anything? But it's like, how do you make a spider do anything? That's crazy. I mean, clearly they're just like prodding it and whatever, which is kind of sad. And you're like, were spiders hurt in the filming of this movie? I'm sure. Which is super sad, but like that's kind of awesome that they were able to do that, and like, and great that they use obviously like animatronics when they couldn't use real spiders. But I would say, hey, these spider actors not credited in this film. What the fuck?
Or the spider wranglers.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Who are those people? Maybe they're
What
just
the
in like the stunt.
fuck?
All the stunt. There were a lot of stunt people. So
But yeah, those scenes, yikes. But other than that, for favorite scenes, I think that we haven't really talked about him yet, but Delbert McClintock, who's John Goodman's character, he's like the town exterminator. Such a character. He's like kooky as fuck, and he's just like thinks he's the shit, and is basically thinks he's like the town superhero. I don't know, like what happened in his life where he's
well,
like,
he
yes.
basically is. I mean, he's like a hot
I
fucking
know,
mess,
but like that was before spiders took over the town. Like, why does he? I don't know, but he says so many funny things, and he's just hilarious. It's such a good part. I think any scene he's in is one of my favorites by far.
But in some ways, you know, like I do see, you know, we live in Boston, so there's lots of pests around. And I do see exterminator trucks and all that stuff. And I'm like, who the fuck does that job? Because that is like disgusting.
Uncle Jesse.
And is that like a job where you're like, you know, like morticians or something that's like passed down in families and stuff like that?
Probably.
Like, is an exterminator? Because like, what person is like, like I think I want to be an exterminator.
I mean, it must be, or you get like a job there and then you inherit the business. I don't know.
Right.
It has to be
that's
because
just,
that seems
that's a tough job,
undesirable job,
and
but
nasty.
But Delbert seems to love it, and he
Right.
seems to be an expert, and he like knows all the facts. My
It's like
favorite,
small level power trip, right?
yeah. My favorite thing that he does is when he like meets the spider doctor and he's like, "Hello." He's like, "Nice to meet you. So good to meet a colleague." And he, like they're like on the same level. I fucking love that.
And the spider guy's like, "What is happening?
Who
here?
are you?
I went to 8 years of college to study spiders. Who are you?"
Yeah. So yeah, I love all those scenes. What do you want to talk about?
So I mean, I think I'm almost ready just to talk about sick bug stories.
Well, before we do that, briefly, let's talk about, again, Chris Collins, who is the hot assistant. I have vivid memories of me as a child watching this and being like, he's going to be my husband. I like really thought in my head, I'm going to grow up. He's going to not have grown up at all. He's going to stay the same age. I'm going to grow up and become an adult. We're going to get married, and that's my life. Like, I just had a feeling. I was like, he's the one. He's the one.
He's the one.
He's just so cute.
He's so cute. I wonder if he's done
And he
anything
doesn't
lately.
die. I'm so glad. Whenever somebody cute shows up in a movie like this, I'm always like, oh, God. He's going
I
to
know.
die.
I was really worried about that. Who is that actor? Oh, he's still cute. Whoa. Brian McNamara. Cute.
Let me see.
Arachnophobia. He was in Short Circuit.
I want to see.
I Know Who Killed Me. Is that the Lindsay Lohan
God,
movie?
yes. This is the worst movie of all
Oh
time.
my god. Oh my god. He was in Designated Survivor, that like weird show with Kiefer
Oh, my
Sutherland.
God.
Hawaii 5-0.
Can I please see his picture?
Yeah. I mean, he's like a hot old man.
Oh. They're a little wrinkly.
Well, he's wrinkly, but like nice
eyes, though, yeah.
Oh my god. Was he on Murder, She Wrote? Yes, he was. Oh my god. Sorry. I love
For
Murder,
like
She Wrote.
one episode?
I mean, he's not as cute here. He's like 80s
Ew, what
cute.
is that wig? He looks like, what's his face?
His wig.
He looks like the
I think
SNL
his real
guy.
hair. That's funny.
Oh, anyways. But yeah, he's great. Love him. Sweetie Club inductee.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
And I want to, okay, so I just want to bring up that this film is directed by Rob Marshall, who does like
Frank Marshall.
Who's Rob Marshall? Different director. Yeah, who does all the musicals. Frank Marshall, who always like is a producer more than a director. He's always seen in credits on Steven Spielberg movies with Kathleen Kennedy, so they're like always the producer of Spielberg movies. But he does have a few directorial credits. One being Congo, so also Killer Animals.
One you left off.
I know.
I remember you telling me about that movie.
Oh, that
because
movie
I think
scared the
did you
shit
see
out of
that in
me.
the theater?
I did.
Yeah. So I remember you telling me about this and about how this like gorilla eats this guy's brains, and I was like, no, thank
and
you.
throws it at this
Yeah.
other guy.
I read that book. It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's like a Michael Crichton.
Crichton.
And when it came out, you know, I was coming off of the last Michael Crichton like movie based on his book, I shit my pants at when I was 8. So like, how's this one going to go? And I equally shit my pants at Congo. And it's not scary at all, by the way. I just like totally freaked
Tim
out.
Curry in it.
Yes.
Is he the guy whose brains get thrown at somebody?
No,
Oh.
that's like this other guy who is in like a lot of movies from the
Nuts.
time, but like that is a dumb movie. Laura Linney. Who's like the hot guy in that? I can like see him. I don't think he's famous anymore. Anyway, he also directed Alive. Interesting.
I kind of want to watch that, but I'm like, do I want to watch a movie about guys being
Cannibalism.
Cannibals? No.
Dude, they
I
had
don't know.
to survive. It's a crazy story. You should read books instead because I think the books are better because the survivors have actually
In
like
general
written-
books? Oh,
about
that.
the incident.
Okay.
Like our friend Abby read it and she said it was like amazing. So like what they had to overcome. And,
Would you do
and-
it? Would you eat a person?
Of course, to stay alive.
Do,
Oh my God.
but do they like cook it?
Yeah, they like cooked it on the wing of the plane, like they let it dry out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't think we taste very good.
When you want to live, like you will do anything.
I know,
to
but I'm
survive.
just saying, like,
I just love those like human stories where you will basically do anything to live, and I think it just like
Donner Party.
or just right, and just like the human spirit's so strong, and basically like if you want to live, like you're gonna fucking live, like you're gonna do it. I just love those stories.
I don't
Anyway.
know. I don't know if I would live. I'll be honest. I'd probably give up.
I don't think you would either. I mean, based on your phobias, I'm like, what is happening over here? Because I'll say with me and phobias, maybe you're like, you're not scared of anything.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And it's not that I'm not scared of anything, but I like kind of like work my life around not being scared of anything. That's like how I like approach things. I just like don't let anything stop me. It's just something that is like driven inside me where I'm like, well, like, you know what? Like nothing's,
Wow.
I'm not scared. Like I'm not scared of anything.
You're an American hero. Congratulations.
If there was like a pit full of rats, I would say no, but
Okay. All right.
anything else.
All right. Tell
All
us
right.
your best bug stories.
Sick bug stories. Here we go. I got 3. Ready? Okay. So 2 have happened in the last week. Or last year, anyway. Okay. So I got an ant problem in my house. And these are not like, Sweety has like a little sugar ant problem. So those are like the little tiny ones, which like, kind of are worse in some ways because they're like everywhere and they're so tiny and they're easy to squash. But like,
I hate them so
I
much.
have a carpenter ant problem, which are those giant fucking black ones. They're huge. So like a year ago, I didn't know I had a problem until I had a sugar bowl on my counter. And I think I saw like one ant around the sugar bowl. And I was like, oh shit, I got ants. And then I like opened the sugar bowl, literally like a swarm of ants. There was more ants than sugar in that bowl.
Ew.
Disgusting. I've never been more freaked out in my life. I was like, ah! And like did the dumb thing where you just like freak out and like throw them in the trash. But then they're like all in the trash can.
What else
like,
are you supposed to do?
I know. I mean,
Take
I
the trash
immediately
out right
like,
away,
took out
yeah.
the trash, but like disgusting. So I got these like really good ant, like this kind of bait where it's like these little like pieces of paper you put around, and then you put around this little bait, and the ants are attracted to it, and then they eat it and then go back to their nest and like spread it around their nest, and so it kills the nest because you want to like kill the nest. So then I had no ant problems at all until this year. So now I have ants again, and I did that whole thing, but it didn't really work because I got different little trap things where I don't think they were like eating the bait. Anyway, so like I go on vacation and I went away for a weekend the other weekend, and I left a bunch of food for my cat, and she like barely ate it, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you dying? Which is like my constant fear for my cat because she's old. She's fine, BTW. And I like am like, oh, like not really figuring it out. So then like I go and I like come back and I like clear out all her food and I change all the bowls and stuff. And then I like see her just like sitting next to the bowl and not eating it. I'm like, do you want to eat this food or not? Like, what is your problem? And then I start rifling through it, and it's filled with ants. The bowl was moving. There were so many ants in it. So of course my poor freaking like little cat wouldn't want to eat the moving food bowl.
I'm calling pet services.
Oh my God, I felt so bad. She looks so skinny. I mean, she's obese, but she looks skinny.
Probably a good diet. Probably a
I know.
good crash
I know.
diet for her, to be
So
honest.
now the bowl of food, now I have to put the food on the table for her, and she forgets every day where it is, and I have to show her. I'm like, remember, Moosh, like the food is up here. So that sucks. Okay, last story. So I when I first moved to Boston, my older sister and Andre was still in college, so I was living with my older sister, and we had this pantry. And I had like a thing of oatmeal, and we used to have all these like moths in the pantry. I'm like, oh, like what are all these moths? Like sick. So like I go to eat oatmeal one day, and the moths had like made like a whole colony in there. It was like larva, maggot kind of style, but also like all these moths inside. Sick. Bugs are gross, guys. Like they just get into places like
They're
you
so
don't
fucking
even
gross.
think that they would like be able to get into. It's
so fucking
nasty.
gross. All right, here are my bug stories. All right, number one, it was like a summer where our cousins had come down to hang out with us or something. I think we had seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame. We were excited. We were doing like Esmeralda dances on the deck.
Dancing Esmeralda.
So we're like on the deck, and then I feel like a wing, something near my head that kind of like goes into my head, but I don't. I'm like, oh, that was weird. Like bug.
Wait,
hit
where
me.
are you?
We're on the deck dancing. And then we're like, that was weird. So then we're like, let's go downstairs and watch a movie. So we're like downstairs on the couch watching a movie. And then I feel this like vibration in my head. And I'm like, what is that? And I put my head back, and I feel this like huge bug, wings vibrating against my hand, and I flip out and start screaming, and Emily's there, Sweety's there, and she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, there's something right here. And then you like look in my hair, and it's a fucking June bug, who are like those giant fucking bugs that are like I hate them
It's like
so much.
fat body, like little wings.
I hate them. So Sweetie like helps me get it out, and it was like it was the worst feeling I've ever had in my life. Like, never want to do that ever again. Thank you very much. Number two, my friend Izzy and I took this forensics class in high school, and one of the projects was like, okay, everybody, like, let's hang a piece of meat from this tree, and then a fly will like lay eggs on it, and then we'll like put it in a jar, and like maggots will come out. So Izzy and I like the direction was to like put your like thing of meat after the flies that lay the eggs on it in the jar, and then tape it up with tape. But like, I don't know if we like were lazy or like we did. I don't know. Izzy and I traditionally were like not very good at stuff. Like when we were together, we'd be like, is this good? I don't know. I guess. And then we'd like shrug and like walk away. So we like put the tape around it. We're like, I think that's right. And we're like, I don't know. So then we like leave it overnight. Next Monday or whatever at school, I forgot to write a paper or something, so I stayed home from school to like figure that out. And so Izzy was like by herself. Unfortunately, the class had been overrun with maggots because Izzy and I's meat thing was not secured enough, and they got out. And Izzy got in trouble because she was the only one there, and like not in trouble, but like everybody was like Izzy, and shit. I wasn't there.
That class?
Mrs. Heppenstall.
Oh yeah.
It was an awesome class,
Yeah.
but that was really embarrassing. But I'm glad I missed it, and I'm sorry, Izzy, that I made you take the flack for that by yourself. Oops. And then the last one I have is also maggot related, but Sweety and I, when in our youth, not that young, but our parents were like, girls, take the garbage to the dump or whatever. So we take the garbage to the dump. Sweetie and I dump the garbage into the dump, which is like this giant, scary thing where you put all the garbage bags. We take the garbage barrels, put them back in the car, but then we're like, oh my God, they were fucking crawling with maggots, and we have never been more upset in our lives. We were itchy for a week after that. We had to like bring them back and then hose them down outside. Oh,
We just had a pigeon like run into a window at work. And coincidentally, it's also the same area that these like seagulls are like making. They made a nest and they actually just had 3 babies. So we're like, is this related? Like, was the pigeon trying to like eat the seagull babies? But pigeons are vegetarian, so not true. Anyway, so like the pigeon. So we see that pigeon. And we're like, oh shoot, like that's super sad. But like no one can get out there to like remove the body or anything. Next day, literally overrun with maggots. Next day, maggots dead. What's up with that?
they have a really short life cycle.
They do.
And it's like, I mean, that's why we studied it
But
in
like,
the forensics
what happened?
class.
So like a fly flew on there and then laid a bunch of eggs,
and then the maggots hatch. But the maggots are supposed to turn
into
into flies. But I don't know what
It's
happened.
too hot or
to that
something.
one.
It was
Maybe
a really hot week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Sick, man. Bugs are sick. I mean, I know we need them, and there's this great part of this movie that like the professor guy is like, you know, people are freaked out about spiders, but we didn't have spiders, this planet would be overrun with insects because spiders eat like millions of bugs a year, and if no one was there to eat those bugs, like, you know,
It's true.
it would suck.
I do think of that sometimes, but I'm like, guys, why do you have to be so scary looking?
They're just different looking.
They're fucking scary, man. And
Do you
like,
think that about octopuses? They also have 8 arms.
if they crawl like Ursula on the ship, maybe. But like because they're swimming, that's normal. But like it's just something about all those legs where
Yeah.
I'm just like, no.
And like I think I let spiders go now because I'm really not bothered by them. I mean, I'm killing ants like it's my job right now, and I don't really feel bad about that because they are pests. But like, I don't know. I'm okay with spiders. I let them live their lives.
I will say there was one time in my old room in our old house where this giant, it was a giant spider. It was kind of the ones with had like the big bulbous body.
Those are
and it was
sick.
kind of striped. But it was, I watched it spin a web in that, you know, that main window I had that like overlooked the driveway. And one day I watched it spin a web and it was truly beautiful.
No, it's beautiful. And like E.B. White totally went on that parade to be like, look, spiders are good with Charlotte's Web. And I feel like
He
that
tried.
worked for a little bit. But,
A little bit. But
you know.
unfortunately, most spiders don't befriend you and like write words and nice encouraging words in the web. But like whatever. But yeah, so
Some pig.
like I feel like she could have come up with something a little better than
She had a
some
limited
pig.
canvas.
Maybe like great pig or like good job. I don't know.
I can't
Whatever.
believe she dies. That like kills me.
Why did she die again? Because she's old.
She's old.
I don't. Do spiders have a long? They don't have a long life.
I don't
do
think
they?
so.
No. Yeah.
And then, but then they had the babies,
What's
and they're
the
all
bug?
like, Wilbur, hi.
Is it mosquitoes that only live like one day?
Yeah, thank God. Assholes.
Like fuck them. They
Disgusting.
have one day to live, and they're like, I'm gonna bite out you motherfuckers. I don't know. Whatever. So that's our bug. That's our riff on bugs.
Yep.
Anything else we need to discuss before
Are
signing
you
off?
gonna do any other bug movies?
Um.
I think this is it.
Not that I know of. There's a lot. I will say there are a lot of if you're talking about the animals run amok genre, there's a lot in the horror genre.
Right.
So like there's a movie called like Frogs.
Whoa.
There's the Day of the Locust.
I did
There's
look it
a
up.
bunch of killer bee movies.
I looked up killer animal movies.
Yeah. There was actually around the time that Jaws came out a movie about a killer orca.
Have you ever
Called
seen
Orca.
Rats:
Yeah.
Night of Terror?
No, but I've seen it in the movie Willard,
Yes,
which
that's on
is about like a boy who befriends a rat, and then I don't know, something bad happens with the rats. Who knows?
Top 50 horror animal movies. Orca.
That's the one I'm talking about. So that is, what year did that?
77.
When was Jaws?
78. 75, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So it was definitely stealing off of the Jaws, like, thing. But it definitely, like, watching that, I'm like, wow. Is
Pig
this
Hunt.
why I hate whales? Pig
seen
Hunt.
Pig
I don't
Hunt?
remember that, no.
Slither.
Oh, so yeah. Slither's a good creature feature.
Razorback.
Is that about pigs?
A razorback is like a pig, like a boar.
Well, yeah, that's what I was like. Is that
Yeah,
about
pigs.
pigs?
Yeah. Snakes on a plane. Forgot snakes on a plane.
Snakes on
There's a
a
lot of good snake
plane.
ones. That's good. Blood monkey. Don't know. Oh my god. There's one just called Bugs. Maybe we should watch it. Bats.
Ooh, yeah. That's another one.
Grizzly range.
Bee
So there's bear
movie.
ones.
Yeah.
Bears, sharks, anything in like swamps. Swamp shark. Piranha.
Yes.
1978.
Yes.
Oh my god. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
What's Deep Rising?
The shark one?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right. Slugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that one is so fucking gross. And that actually, there's like a really gross scene where somebody's like cutting a head of lettuce and the slug is in the lettuce, but then the slug gets like cut in half. So
Why is
whenever
the
I see a head
abyss
of
on
lettuce,
here?
the abyss. Isn't there like something, a bug like goes into their head and makes them
Alligator
crazy?
from 1980.
Yeah. So there's,
Rottweiler. Oof.
whoa. Yeah, there's
Lot-
just
lot
like
of
so
snake
many.
ones.
Is there a deadly cat one?
Black
I
sheep.
hope not. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's a funny British. That's like a horror
The
comedy.
Fly.
The Fly. So The Fly is like so good, you guys. The remake with Jeff Daniels specifically. The old one is okay, but I have a problem with it because the guy's like, "What can I test this weird machine with? I know, my family's cat," and like puts the cat in there, and the cat fucking dies. Actually, it gets like beamed to some netherworld, and they never see it again, and they just hear like meows periodically, like in the ether. Fuck you. So, and his name is Andre, and I'm like, what the fuck? Thanks a lot. So, but the Jeff Goldblum one is so good, and it's a
Yeah, I
it's a
gotta watch
it's a
that.
David Cronenberg movie, so it's gross, but like so good, and I love that movie so much, you guys. But that's probably my now that you've said that, that's
The
definitely
Fly.
my favorite bug movie.
I
So.
will say, just sorry, on the last note, because you just talked about cats. Frank Marshall, who directed this, obviously a huge cat lover because no cats die, and it was real close. Oh, we did.
There's
see that
there's a dead one in the web,
So
but
like,
we don't see any. There were a lot of close calls with cats, which
Yeah.
I highly appreciated.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there was a cat did get caught in the giant web along with many other critters, so that was sad. But I feel like a true cat lover. That Frank Marshall.
Thank you,
Thank
Frank.
you.
Frankie. Yeah, so cool. So I guess that's it. Sorry, another long one. I guess when animals run amok is our favorite genre.
Totally.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah. So, but if you guys have thoughts about arachnophobia, spiders, whatever your phobia is, come
Tell us
and
your
find
bug
us.
stories.
Tell us your favorite animals run amok movie. Come find us. We're on Twitter at the Sweety Club and on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you as always for listening.
Bye.
Bye.